Skin so like a rose. Happy already enough for this pose. I'ma show you how. Baby, do it slow and I be like, woo! Banging all night.
Hey, what's up everybody? Joshua Casper back at you with Plugin Boutique, and this is going to be a very quick tip on using Saturn to get some glitchy style effects. I'm using it inside of this project. This is obviously kind of like a trip hop down tempo style thing, and I really want to have some kind of glitchy percussion out there in the stereo field just to kind of fill in some of the gaps and add a little bit of that interesting character to the track. So that's what I'm using Saturn to do. Now, Saturn generally is for saturation to distortion and is one of the best saturation and distortion plugins you can get your hands on. You know, Fabfilter are known for things like that, and there are a ton of different flavors of saturation and distortion inside of here. If I click this where it says Smudge, these are all the different ones you can get. You can get from that clean tube, the kind of subtle saturation, all the way up to destroy and rectify, which are really going to get things quite crazy and quite distorted. But the one I want to draw your attention to in this video is Smudge. So I'm going to go ahead and jump on this percussion and just delete Saturn. Let's come back in and drop a new clean slate on there. I'm going to go ahead and loop this part right here. And this is the percussion that I have. All right, so it's already got a little bit of glitch in there, but I want it to be even more glitchy and really be pushed out to the sides, and that's what I'm going to use Smudge to do. So just to show you, I'm going to take Smudge, crank up the drive. I love how it lights up the GUI in the background here as I push the drive. Now listen to what's happened to that percussion. Are you kidding me? That sounds so dope. Obviously, that's a little bit too much for this particular project, but I'm sure there are plenty of instances where that actually, just that one kind of wavy sound is perfect. But what I'm gonna do is use it just a little bit. So I'm gonna turn down the drive and watch what happens if I use this outer ring. It's called the drive pan. It's really gonna push things out to that stereo field. All right. So super dope. Now, the next thing I want to do is add a band. And to add band inside of Saturn, you just got to come up to where it says plus as you're hovering over the kind of spectrum here and hit it and boom. And what I want to do is put this somewhere conservative right around like 300 and let that lower, there's like a lower Congo hit that's kind of bassy. I want to let that pass by. I don't want to affect that and push that out to the stereo field and ruin my mix. So I'm just going to add that second band, click on this band, and just turn off the filter. That way this is getting passed by and we're only affecting things above wherever we set this crossover point. So like I said, somewhere around 300. You know, when I'm actually doing my final mix, I'm going to get it there and be very precise, but for the tutorial, this is fine. And the next thing I do is just pull down on the mix. So we have individual dry wet mixes for each one of the band. We also have a dry wet mix over here for the entire plugin, but we can just use it right here on this band. So I'm going to pull it down quite far because I only want to add that character I'm talking about. I don't want to have it be in front. I don't want it to be in focus. I just want it to be a little bit of extra something something for the listeners of the track.
Check it out.
So you can hear it. It's in the background and it's just adding a little bit of extra on top of that one kind of already bubbly sound. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. Now we can go a step further and add even more movement to it by using a modulation source. If you don't see the modulation window, just click the modulation tab. Click the plus button to add a source. I'm going to add an XLFO. I'm going to add a couple extra steps here. And what I like to do for something like this where I'm using Smudge to get glitchy style is I'll click that 3 and hit random, click that 4 and hit random. And now it's just going to be a random value whenever it gets to that step in the XLFO. And the next thing we need to do is point to what we want to modulate. So inside of Saturn, it's very easy. You just use this crosshair, click and drag to where you want. So it's going to snap. You can see it's kind of snapping to places. So I'm going to snap it to the drive and I'm going to snap it to that drive pan. And you just kind of boost up the drive. You know, we can make any sort of adjustments here that we want. We can change the frequency rate over here. And it's just going to add a little bit more movement to the glitchiness.
Check it out.
So I'm sure you can hear it. Every now and then it sounds like it's a little bit more. Every now and then it's a little bit less. Sometimes it's not happening. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for anything too repetitive. I'm just looking for that little bit of glitch every now and then to add that extra interest to the track. I love using Smudge inside of Saturn for this. FabFilter always come correct with their plugins, and the control I have over this, and even the control over me not having control with the random feature down there on the XLFO, super dope. Anyway, that's a quick tip on using Saturn to get those glitchy effects. I hope you learned something. Saturn is available now on pluginboutique.com. I'm going to leave a link in the video description if you want to check it out. I'm Joshua Casper here. I hope you learned something, and I'll see you in the next video.
Check it out.